Yes, Ubisoft's #1 mascot before the assassins from Assassin's Creed 2 came along. Rayman, an unknown creature that has a hairdo like Leon Kennedy, that has no arms or legs, but has hands and feet that stays along with his body and reaches to long-range distances. That's right, this friendly video game character was Ubisoft's #1 mascot. I love this video game character as much as anybody would love a platformer game, and a couple of people have requested me to do a review on Rayman the game and Rayman 2, The Great Escape. I love the original Rayman because it has the beauty and colorful world that's something that brings the innocence of what the gaming industry used to have. And Rayman's jump to 3D in Rayman 2, The Great Escape was an instant success, being released on multiple platforms such as the Windows, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1 and 2. It's still being ported to other consoles to this day, such as the Nintendo DS, PlayStation 1 Classics and the PSN, and the iTouch. And Ubisoft will still continue to milk out the game because it was that good. It's really good, but unfortunately it's not exactly my favorite Rayman game. My favorite Rayman game has to be Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc for the Windows, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and the Xbox. And unlike Rayman 2, all the ports in Rayman 3 were all equally identical. Ubisoft decided to turn the Rayman series from a casual friendly platformer into a wild, hysterical 3D platforming adventure. And I'll tell you why it's my favorite Rayman game of the franchise. First, let's begin with the story. Rather than having our friendly Rayman to be saving the world from the innocent creatures, the story in Rayman 3 decided to make this hysterical and a little more darker tone than their predecessors. It opens up with Rayman and Globox sleeping peacefully in the woods until the leader of the Black Lums, Andre, was swallowed by Globox, and every one of his minions are after Globox to free Andre, and Rayman must save Globox before any of Andre's minions get to him first. The story behind the madness is a simple one, and also one that makes little to no sense, which is exactly what a platformer needs. Rayman 3 plays just like Rayman 2, where there is a point A to B platformer that will bring you to the next level. But there were a lot of changes that were made in this game. First off, Rayman no longer throws energy orbs, but goes right back to throwing fists at enemies from the first Rayman game. With the punching returning to the series, Rayman 3 is mixed with combat action, which works really well. New to the series is a scoreboard, which raises more points the more combos you make or jewel-like items you collect. The purpose of having a scoreboard is having a certain amount of points will help you unlock numerous of bonus points. Bonus points have no impact on the portion of the game, but are humorous to play through when you don't feel like continuing the main quest. My favorite part of the bonus stage is to be able to surf ride to the Twilight. This feature itself has a true arcade-like feel. Another new feature are the power-ups. If Rayman happens to stumble across a colored paint can lying on the floor, he can gain the color-specific power-up that lies within. These power-ups can range from the powerful heavy metal fist to super propellers to the explosive shock rocket. Each power-up lasts for a short period of time, but can be reused as many times as you need them as long as they remain on the ground. Using power-ups on enemies and to find secrets is one of the best parts of Rayman 3 for sure. Most of all, the boss fights have dramatically improved. To me, the boss fights in Rayman 3 are much more memorable than all the other boss fights in the Rayman series. Another great part of Rayman 3 is how narrative the game is when you continue the game. I mean, most platformers don't really move on with the story of the game, but Rayman 3 nails it greatly. Also, it gets funnier and funnier as you go along. I will never forget that Rayman 3 had the best moments with Globox.
Rayman, go play somewhere else! I'm trying to concentrate!
The dialogue in Rayman 3 really did improve compared to Rayman 2. It was more than just, "Thanks Rayman for helping me." It was all just cheesy one-liners and tons of comedic moments. Other than the story and the comedy, the music itself is kick-ass. We have songs like Matter by Groovemonda that was so good that it had to be the main theme song of this game. Most importantly, the platforming is really creative at times, but as well as challenging. My favorite platforming in this game is when there were invisible platforms to face and the mirrors indicated where the platforms were. The one thing I will always admire about Rayman 3 are the level designs. Oh my god, they were such a thing of beauty to watch. Sure, it was pretty linear and they make you follow a path, but the different levels and varieties of this game made Rayman 3 a big adventure. The only downfall I have with the game is that it's a little too short. The game consists on a total of 9 levels, and each of them are split to 2 or 3 sections. It's pretty much the biggest flaw with Rayman 3, but other than that, it's probably one of my favorite Rayman game ever. It really did remind me of how Crash Bandicoot and Conker's Bad Fur Day once was, because it had this radical feel that platformers no longer have, which is the reason why I really like this game the most. It's a shame that this game didn't get the same praise and reception like Rayman 2 did. I think the only explanation why Rayman 3 did not get the same praise as 2 did is because people prefer 2 because of nostalgia. It's definitely the only explanation, nostalgia. Rayman 3 is a wonderful gem for me. I really did like the fact that they took out some of the characters that were in Rayman 2 that didn't really feel as important to the series, and thus made Rayman 3 a wild, entertaining game. And it was the last good Rayman game until the Rabbids came along and ruined everything. Since a lot of critics did not give the praise that Rayman 3 deserves, I give Rayman 3 a strong 5 fingers out of 5. If you love wild, entertaining platformers, I strongly recommend you to play this game.